Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a summer makeup routine. This is the look. So if you're interested in how I got this look, please keep watching. So starting off with a fresh face, I am first going to prime. And what I'm going to be using is the PER-FEKT Skin Perfecting Gel. And I'm going to be mixing that with the Naked Color Correcting Fluid in green. I have a little bit of redness, so I like to cancel that out just a little bit. So on the back of my hand, I just like to mix them both together just like that. Using my finger, I just like to dot this all over. Again, I'm going to be using my hands and I'm just going to rub this all in. Alright, and then next I like to move on to foundation, and today I'm going to be using the YSL All-in-One Glow, and I'm going to put that directly onto my beauty blender and I'm going to dot that all over my face. Next I like to conceal, and I use two concealers. The first one I'm using is the YSL Radiant Touch, and I feel like this one just really helps correcting the underneath of my eyes, and I use my finger to pat that in. Now the second one I use is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I like to use this one as more as a highlighting concealer. So I put this underneath my eyes, a little bit on my forehead, and then a little bit on my chin. And once again, I'm going to use my beauty blender and just pat that in. To warm my face up, I'm going to be using the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation Stick, and I'm just going to put this a little bit on the side of my cheeks and on my forehead. Now the brush that I'm going to use to blend this in is just a Sephora foundation brush, and I just like to blend it. And I like to use whatever's left on the brush and kind of put that on my cheeks a little bit and right underneath my chin and jawline. Next, what I like to do is set my face, so I'm going to be using the Mercier Sheer Perfecting Powder, and I'm just going to be using another Sephora Professionals brush and just pat that where I use the concealer to highlight. What I like to do next is I like to set the warmth that I put on my face with a bronzer, and I'm going to be using the BECCA X CRISSY palette, and I'm going to be using the bronzer in that, and I'm going to be using a really big fluffy brush and kind of just put that right over where I put that foundation stick. And to get a little bit more contrast in the face, I like to use an angled brush. I'm going to be using the same exact bronzer as I used, and just put that on my cheeks and use the excess on my nose. Next, I like to move on to eyes, and I'm going to prime my lids with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. And I like to use my fingers to do this. I'm going to be using two palettes today, and the first one I'm going to be using is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and then the second one I'm going to be using is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. So starting off with the Naked 3 palette, I'm going to be using the color Strange and put that all over my eye. Next, I'm going to be going into the Tartelette palette, and I'm going to be using the color Flower Child, and I'm going to put this more on a small angled brush and put this just in the crease. I'm going to go back into the same palette, and I'm going to be using the color Smarty Pants, and I'm also going to use the same brush as I did. Put this in my crease as well. Next, I'm going to take a blending brush and blend that all together. I'm going to go back into my Naked 3 palette, and I'm going to be using the color Burnout on a more flat brush, and I'm going to be focusing this more on the inner to outer part of my eye. I want to darken the outer corners of my eye a little bit more, so I'm going to be going in with the color Nooner on the same brush and put that on my eye as well. This color, I'm going to be focusing more on the outer corner of my eye. Using the same blending brush that I used earlier, I'm just going to blend it all out together again. Next, I'm going to go back into the Tartelette palette and I'm going to be using the color Rebel on the same angled brush that I used for my crease and put this more on the outer corner of my crease. And once again, using that same blending brush as I did earlier. In the Naked 3 palette, I'm going to take the color Liar and put that on the outer corners of my eye. This is where I start to get a little bit of fallout, and I'm going to be taking a really big powder brush and just using a sweeping motion. The next color is Trick, but this time I'm going to be using my finger instead and putting that on my lids. Once again, I'm going to take that powder brush and sweep underneath my eyes. I want to add a little bit of more glitter to my eyes, so I'm going to be using this Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow. What I like to do is put a little bit on the back of my hand and get a little bit of the color Trick that I just used on my eyes and put that on the back of my hand and blend it together. And then apply it on. I feel like it just adds a good touch to it. Next, I like to align my eyes just a little bit, and I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Waterproof Liquid Liner. I like to smoke it out just a little bit, so I'm going to be using the Sephora Bent Liner Brush and just rub it right on top to smoke it out just a little bit. I'm not the best at doing eyeliner, so that's why I like to smoke it out just a little bit. I like to add a little bit of eyeshadow to the underneath of my eyes, so I'm going to be using Nooner once again on a small flat brush and just put that underneath my eye. For mascara, I'm going to be using the Pat McGrath Labs. I just bought this the other day, so this will be a first impression. For my second mascara, I like to use this Blinc waterproof mascara, and what I found about this is when you wash off normal waterproof mascara, it runs down your face, and I find that it's really hard to get off, but this, it comes off in strips, and so it doesn't leave that residue on your face. I just like to lightly coat my lashes with it and also do my lower lash line. I find that it does a really good job staying on, and it doesn't leave that smudge underneath your eyes like some mascaras do after wearing it for a long day. I never have that little black underneath my eyes. I'm going to move on to brows, and I'm going to be using the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo and use the brush that it came with. And I like to fill in my eyebrows just a little bit and then blend it all together. I like to set my brows, and I'm going to be using the Anastasia Tinted Brow Gel and just run that through. Next, I'm going to go back to my face and I'm going to put some blush on. I'm going to be using the NARS blush in the color Orgasm and put a little bit on my cheeks, and I like to put a little bit on my forehead as well. For highlighter, I'm going to be using the Benefit High Beam highlighter and dot it on. And I'm going to be using the Sephora Airbrush Concealer Brush and blend it in. I like to use whatever left over and just put it on my nose just a little bit. This is my dog Poe. I'm going to set that highlighter just a little bit with the Hourglass Iridescent Strobe Light and just put that right on top. I'm going to go back in with a small angled eyeshadow brush and put that on my brow bone. Sometimes I like to highlight underneath my eyes just a little bit, and I'm going to go back in with the Laura Mercier Matte Radiant Baked Powder with a small brush, and I like to just swipe that underneath. I feel like it really does brighten up underneath my eyes, but also give like a little bit of a highlight as well. Next, for our lips, I'm going to be using NARS in the color Rose Cliff. And then lastly, for lip gloss, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier in color Bear Baby. The final step is setting my makeup, so I'm going to be using the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray and just spray this all over. Alright, so this is the final makeup look. I hope you really like it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any video requests, please leave them in the comments down below. And thanks for watching!